Stay tuned for we'll be doing a review of these Rocky S2V Tactical boots. Welcome back to the Evolving Warfighter. My name's Dr. Franklin Annis. About 9 months ago, I wanted to find a way to keep myself motivated when I was doing long-range rucking or hiking. One of the ideas that came to mind was keep track of the distances I was traveling and compare them to the stories of J.R.R. Tolkien. I'm happy to say I actually completed the 950-mile adventure that Bilbo Baggins would have traveled during The Hobbit. I had so much fun in this journey, I actually want to keep it going. During this adventure, I was lucky enough to have the Rocky Boot Company give me a pair of S2V Tactical boots to test out along the way, and I must say I was very impressed. When I first received these boots, the first thing that came to mind is they are a very good-looking boot. They are fully compliant with AR 670-1, so any soldier out there can wear them in uniform. They are American made and they are very compliant. And they have this really interesting feature of these side lugs. Now you see really aggressive side lugs on modern off-road tires for vehicles, and it kind of makes sense to put them on combat boots as well. It gives you a lot more traction when you get into really loose soil or mud. And I must say the first time I had these boots on for the first couple days, I did some running down some ravines just to test out the traction of those side lugs, and I must say I was very, very, very impressed with the performance of these boots. Just a really amazing boot, and a really good-looking boot at that. The other feature I really enjoyed about this boot is that they actually have a lot of protection built in for the ankle. Now, a lot of civilians may ask, well, why would you want to wear a boot that's maybe heavier? Although these aren't very heavy boots, they're about 4 pounds for a pair. They might ask, well, why wear boots when you can just wear tennis shoes? And it really comes down to the fact that boots are going to protect your ankles a lot better than tennis shoes. And the technology in these boots is actually specifically designed to protect from ankle injuries. Now, I'm lucky enough to say that typically I've never had problems with my ankles out marching or rolling my ankles. However, when I was out marching with a team during my journey once, I did step on the edge of the sidewalk and I almost rolled my ankle. And I was very pleasantly surprised to find out that the boot itself didn't allow enough flexibility for me to actually injure my ankle in that way. So for that alone, I would say this boot has earned its value in my respect, in the sense that, you know, if I was out marching competition, just saving myself from an ankle injury and a very long and painful walk home is really great. I couldn't imagine being out on operations and injuring my ankles. So if you're out doing real operations in the combat theater, that's something that you definitely want to have. Now, I did have a couple problems with the boots, but I must say that they were mostly self-inflicted. I did break one stitch on the boot in the right heel around mile 600. However, I figured out why that happened is I have a bad habit of taking my boots off by putting my left toe on the back of this part of the boot and pushing down. I guess it's a habit that I didn't notice I had. I always take my right boot off for some reason. So I inadvertently caused this seam to separate and I broke one stitch. However, I must say I'm really, really, really impressed that the boot survived another 400 miles of marching without actually creating any more gap, and that seam itself never failed. So the amount of reinforcement and the build quality of Rocky boots really showed off there. The only other problem that I had, and it may just be due to the shape of my foot or the fact that I didn't use the actual insole that came with the boot. I wore an orthotic because my feet are bad from too much walking. I did wear out the inside of the boot towards the back of the heel, and that exposed some of the really rough leather that would chew up my socks. However, I found a very easy fix where I applied some Gorilla Tape on the inside of the boot that I changed out every couple hundred miles, and that seemed to fix the problem. It ended the chance of blisters or damage to my socks, and really it allowed me to continue and I didn't have any other problem with that boot whatsoever. I can say that I have put these boots through some pretty significant challenges. The longest march I've ever conducted in these boots was 43.5 miles, carrying a 50-pound ruck in a single day. And I can say that I survived that ruck without a single blister, so these are rather impressive boots in themselves. While I did keep track of the rucking, and I have done about 1,002 miles of rucking on these boots, I also wore these boots around an office building and did some other walking in it. So even though I say that they have 1,000 miles on these boots, they probably more likely have almost 1,200 miles on these boots. And they've finally gotten to the point where I'd say that they've ended their service life and they need to be replaced. So with that in mind, having a boot that could survive 1,000 miles of rough training, if I ever got sent somewhere that I couldn't have boots replaced for a year, if I just took a couple pair of these with me, I'd be very, very confident that I wouldn't have to worry about boots while I was gone. And I do highly recommend these boots just because of their performance and their high reliability. Just an exceptional job out there for the Rocky Boot Company, so my compliments to you. Right now, $234 on the Rocky website. If you are a military member and you have access to the AAFES, they're currently $204 on the AAFES website. Well worth the price and value of these boots. And in fact, I actually bought a pair for my oldest son so he could go out rucking with me. I like them so much. Like I said, I did follow along with the journey of Bilbo Baggins, and I absolutely love keeping track of my marching and then comparing it to the story. I learned so much about the story, and I never realized how freaking wide Mirkwood Forest was and how long it takes to actually march through that forest. I did have such fun following along with the journey of Bilbo Baggins. I decided that I'm going to walk back with him. I'm going to help him dig up the 2 chests of gold he buried in the troll horde, and we'll walk all the way back to the Shire, and then hopefully I can meet up with Frodo and go on a much longer adventure. So with that in mind, I'm going to find myself a new pair of boots to go test out. If anybody out there has recommendations for boots, please leave a comment below. Anyone interested in more videos on military history and military self-development, I invite you to subscribe to the Evolving Warfighter. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I do hope that I see you out in the trail as I continue along the Tolkien Challenge. Until next time, focus on your self-development so we can ensure we can dominate the modern battlefield. Thank you.